great.
Right. Okay. So now it's recording. Okay. So today is February 6th, 2017, and we're doing our first practice Zoom meeting, and hopefully one day we'll be producing our own shows.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let me just get, I'm kind of, how are you? I'm cold. I'm kind of in a bit of a PTSD state.
Oh, I've been, oh my gosh, I've been traumatized like you wouldn't believe.
Oh,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I do.
Like I fell asleep. You know, I went swimming. I swam 6 lengths, which I was really pleased about. And I did some housework, and I didn't go near the internet today. I've been having attacks in the nighttime, like spirit attacks. I'm not used to that. I don't usually get attacked on the astral plane.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I've actually had, actually the other night there was because I have my drug abuse problems, and actually they came in my dream, and they had like a needle, and I was like, no thank you. I've had lots of astral attacks, astral dreams, and
you don't, how long have you been clean?
Oh, I would say about 10 years, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm doing really good, like I said, I'll have a beer here and there. Yesterday was the Super Bowl, so I had a few beers with my roommates and stuff, and tried to be human. But, they have the Pope giving a message during the Super Bowl, and Lady Gaga did halftime, and I'm just like, I'm so not into this world anymore.
No, I can't hardly watch, I don't watch mainstream media at all. And I can't watch those rituals anymore. Yeah, right. Like, I can't watch them anymore. I can't. But if I get too disconnected from altogether the world, it's dangerous, because then I just don't want to be here. You know, the way you kept saying, I want to go home, I want to go home.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And then Mel says it, we're sick of your suicide threats. Because I said in one of them, I can't wait to get over the finish line. That's not a suicide threat. That's like saying, I know that we don't die, and I'm not going to cap out like that. Oh my God, the trauma that those people put us through. And
I've got messages, emails, YouTube notifications, Facebook notifications, and I want to open them with you online, because I'm scared to go near that shit.
Huh. Is that from Mel?
From all sorts of people.
Oh, so
the attacks in my nighttime, I don't usually get attacked in dreams at all. It's only just been intense the last week. I've been having terrible sleep patterns, which is not usually an issue for me. But I've had sleep paralysis, where I felt I was counseling somebody and they put a blanket over my head and then they immobilized me, and I felt I was in danger of imminent rape or death, or both. I write them down now. Twice I've had dreams of I had to get out of somewhere really quickly and pack up everything really quickly in a panic, and I was falling off a roof and I couldn't get all my shit packed and I had to abandon it, and real horrible anxiety stuff, And then I dreamt as well that I was, I think I dreamt I either committed adultery or I was about to in my dream, and I've never had incubus or succubus kind of stuff,
Mm.
But, I definitely dreamt last night I was with somebody for 3 days. I don't think we fornicated, but it was really getting intimate. And then he was somebody else's ex, and then they said, oh, I don't want him, you can have him anyway. And then I realized he had a wife as well as a girlfriend. It was just a mess.
That's like a whole story, a soap opera in one night.
Right? It is. It's exhausting. It's like I can be awake from 1 a.m. until like 4 or 5 a.m., you know, and then I'll go back to sleep until about 8 or 9, and then I'm just tired, which is, anyway, I've been doing some prayer warfare. I've got a really good prayer partner, and we've taken authority over the spirit of Leviathan, and now we're taking warfare against the spirit of Python. And I'm doing counseling once a week for 2 hours on a Sunday. So I'm stirring up a lot of stuff in the spiritual realm, you know, and there's backlash.
Well, yeah. I'm reading a book. Well, I'm reading like 3 books right now, and one of them is Spiritual Warfare Prayer. Hang on a second. Let me grab it. It's right here.
My ashtray.
Oh. You know, unfortunately, the churches never taught us that we were going to be the prime, that, you know, Lucifer is going to be after us the most because we love Yah the most.
Yeah.
It was a weapon, deliverance from evil spirits. Weapon, spiritual warfare. And it's based on Christianity. And he's saying how Christians don't realize that we're going to be the first attacked. You know? Yeah.
I work very hard to be aware in that field. I have done for years. And like I listen, I follow, I shared another video on that Nokian calendar, and you know the way
Is that a different one? Is that a different?
Yeah, it's part 2.
Okay, because I saw the part 1, and you know that one's rung with me.
Yeah, I put it in the Woman at the Well. You know, that I put it in that place there, and they have a calendar. I'd quite like to get their calendar, because they have a calendar. Because sometimes Shabbat falls on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, stuff like that, according to the moons. But they have it kind of mapped out. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, but tell me about your new home. You look a little bit more settled.
A little bit. I mean, I still need to get blinds, like that window back there behind me. You can see it. There's no covering on it, but it's, you know, I got a desk, and so I have I don't know if I want where I'm going to keep my workstation, because this is the first time I've recorded. I mean, yeah, I kind of went into a slump, Angie. Like,
yeah, me too.
Big time. I was like, and then I realized that I have to realize that it's not my plan, and not to have expectations. You know, like, I didn't want it to fall like this, and I would never have gotten involved if I thought that they were so good. They're so good at what they do.
Yeah, they are. They're very professional, very slick, and they've you know, a lot of people have followed suit, trying to get, you know, raise their standards. But like some people that really enjoyed my show, they didn't realize Mel V was behind it. And as soon as I said I've left the network because I kind of fell out with Mel V, they're like, "Oh my God, what were you doing working with her?" And oh my God. And
I know. And actually, like the Mackenzie's Devils, I told you they've been putting a bunch of them out. And I watched one of them, and they actually showed how they had her raving about us at the CCN awards thing, and how and then, you know, they're saying, like, I don't know, it was like almost, it was like they almost had it right, that she's just a psychopath. Once I called her a psychopath, she went totally ballistic and said things like, I don't blame your daughter for not allowing you to see your grandchildren, and, you know, why don't you go get high and boozed up, what you do. She said horrible things to me. I have them in emails. First, she sent me this whole collage of Skype things, saying that because of my abusive behavior or something, she's decided that to block me from Skype. But they're all still there in Skype, but she condensed all of our messages into some kind of a Ziploc file and sent it to me. And that's what I sent it back. I said, you know what, you're just a psychopath, because you're psychopathic behavior. One minute you're so nice and everything, and then the next minute you like say horrible things. That's a sign of a psychopath. And so once I did that, she sent like 3 more horrible things, saying, you know, that you know, I don't even know what. I could probably share screen and pull it up if I wanted to. Let's see, I got to get out of this thing. Okay. Let's see what she said. Desktop. All right. Okay. go out of here.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, I can do this. And if I was, like I said, if we're going to do one, we'll set it up. And if we want to share anything, like, we can, we could do it. But I figured I want to practice this one. I want to see how the record comes out. I want to see if you can work with it, you know, because I don't know how to put captions in or anything. If I could put captions in, that would be cool. I think I
No,
will.
yeah, I've had an idea. I'm going to advertise for an intern for a month. I'm going to offer a free room for a month to somebody in exchange for 20 hours a week of computer help.
All right, that'll work. Because I've been trying to put it out there. And yeah, she put in full transparency. She says, please find attached a full copy of our Skype correspondence since you joined the network. Due to the fact that your communication became psychologically abusive and traumatizing to deal with, I have had to block you on Skype. I enclose attach all our Skype correspondence for our records, and so that you have a copy, and I can prove that nothing has been edited or amended should I decide to publish any of the details. And I'm sure you will no doubt spin that one too. Right. I mean, that was what she said when I sent her in a thing. I said to her, you are indeed, I end up saying ugly things too, but I said, you are indeed a psychopath and very ugly and dangerous. Fuck off, Mel. Oops. Did I just say traumatize you, you crazy bitch? I do talk like a truck driver when someone deserves it, and your manipulation deserves it. I have no respect for someone that uses people. And so
Wow.
yeah, I can't help it myself. And she says back, laugh out loud. I expected nothing less of you than to sink to that familiar level. Firstly, I never used you, Sandy. You used us. You needed us more than we needed you. In the end, we only put up with you because we felt so sorry for you. I know. I can see how damaged and abused you are, and you blame the entire world for your problems and take no responsibility for your own behavior, which has quite frankly been disgusting and traumatizing to deal with. We tried very hard to counsel you, to work with you, to deal with all the abuse you foisted our way, and to be that support that nobody wants to give you for obvious reasons.
Oh, God.
I know. No wonders I went into a slump. I haven't read these things since she said, no, dear Sandy, you used us and demanded our time and energy with irrelevance, drama, and patheticness. And when we were unable to respond to your energetic vampirism, you throw a tantrum for not getting your energetic fix as and when you need it. Typical addict. We see you for what you are, and no matter what nasty labels you throw at me, you don't touch me anymore because I have now indeed stopped caring for you. The fact that you even tried to traumatize me via email just shows what a psychopath you are. She's the one who sent the first email. And I am not being nasty. I am being honest. And I don't need to throw derogatory labels such as bitch at you because I know you punish yourself in your own mind. I don't have to do anything. To be honest, I honestly can see why your children won't let you near your grandchildren. If you were my mother, I would not let you anywhere near mine or anybody else's kids. You have
Jesus, this is so abusive.
You have severe mental health issues and project your pain and anger indiscriminately at others. That sort of behavior only damages children. I can also see why you are on disability benefits. Clearly, it is not physical disability, rather a mental one. Yeah, she goes on. There's more paragraphs. As for the fact that you no longer respect us, dear lady, you never had any respect for us from the beginning. You treated us so badly. No wonder you have no friends and no family. And spend
my God. Oh, my God.
Truck drivers. Because I spent Christmas with the truck drivers, too. And you will be alone, it's supposed to be, I guess, alone for the rest of your life with the disgusting way you communicate with people and treat people, particularly those who tried to help you. Oh, yeah. Nearly every rant you gave us on Skype ended with some kind of allegory alluding to the fact that you want to die. Think about it from our side. Here we are trying to help humanity and bring some inspiration to them in hard times. And I have to put up with constantly dropping attention-seeking suicide threats like, can't wait till the finish line, or can't wait to go back to the galaxy. Those are suicide threats. You are not an inspiration, and you most certainly do not belong on Conscious Consumer Network. Why should be put out effort into people who are just waiting to die or might even take their own life? I'm never going to take my own life. If that is how you feel, then do it. I urge you, do it. Stop sucking energy out of people by threatening to kill yourself with veiled allegories. I never said I want to kill myself. I want to die. I was just frustrated when I was trying to get through to them about how he wasn't loading my YouTubes properly with the bios attached and stuff. And it was like the third time. And that's when they were like, this isn't Sandy. This is an altar. When the true Sandy comes, we'll talk to you. And I ended up hanging up. I was just like, you know what? Yeah. Okay. So maybe the next life will be kinder to you. If you want to kill yourself, then just do it. Yeah.
That's evil.
Yeah.
I rebuke that curse.
I rebuke her too. I rebuked everything. And all the time we have been doing this network, we have never come across anybody as full of shit as you. Full of drama, not to mention being a compulsive liar. You exhibit the emotional maturity of an adolescent. Working with you was like working with an abusive drunk. It was nerve-wracking because we never know what Sandy we are going to get. Are you going to be nice, or are you going to start with your undignified verbal assaults on Biggie and I? We just never know. And to be honest, we deserve better than to be under duress from an abusive psycho. We have caught you out lying so many times. I'd love to know. And did not have the heart to kick you off the network, which I should have done the very first time you handpicked my lovely husband.
Henpecked. Isn't that interesting? Because she accused me of that as well. And it's the most incredible projection because she henpecks him.
Yeah.
She accused me of railroading and henpecking him. And it's the most hilarious projection. It's just, she henpecks him so much. He was whinging to me about an hour and a half sleep at night, no food, no time off in 2 years, no vacation in a decade. And everything to fulfill her dreams. And yet she projects and accuses us of henpecking and railroading her husband.
Right. When he was trying to talk to me because he didn't want me to quit, right? And she was like running her mouth in the background. That's when I got it. That's when I lost it, is when she kept saying shit behind. And he was going, Mel, like, shh. Trying to keep her down, and that's when I was like, she thinks somebody, he goes, she did not say that. And they're saying, of course, she goes, now go drown yourself in drugs or booze or whatever it is you do that make you such a foul person to engage with. And I said, you are indeed very good at what you do. Lying about what? The fact that you and Biggie indeed use people? Mel, you are the most foul and manipulative person I've ever encountered. None of what you tell me hurts at all, since I know exactly what kind of person you are and dealt with you since the end of October. I so wish I had checked your network out before going in head first into such a trap. I just thought it was a way to help humanity. And then she didn't answer. And then I said, then I reread it and I was like, I said, suicide threats? Laugh out loud. Wow, I missed that the first time I read. I'm so laughing at you right now. I won't bother sending another message your way. I just love your imagination. Can't wait to get out of this hellhole with people like you is all, but never ever would take my own life as you so eloquently urged. That's my last one. That's what she said.
She's out of control. I haven't looked into this fully, but I was speaking to somebody about her behavior, and she said to me that, because somebody said to you that she came from a cult, blood drinking.
Ken Shorley.
Yeah, well, the last message I have from her, which I haven't opened yet, but the first line says, I don't even know who Ken is, which is funny because she told you that interview wouldn't get enough traction.
Oh, yeah, she told me that in Skype. She says, frankly, people don't dig him. If you're looking for numbers, you're not going to get it with him. Because, just like...
Anyway, but just to finish that thought, I was talking to somebody about the behavior from her, and she said, she admitted to her cult family background to Brian Gerrish in a blog with UK Column about 2012, but then he didn't rise to it. And then he kind of distanced himself from her. And then she didn't mention it much to anybody anymore. She kind of mentions having a little bit of an abusive upbringing, but nothing like cult, ritual,
Well,
SRF.
what Ken said, he said she grew up in a blood drinking cult. That's was his words.
It'd be good to ask him for some more info on that, because the fact as well that she really tried to engineer me to interview two what I consider to be cult members that Holly Gregg accused of being in a pedophile ring that abused her in Scotland. And Mel was really trying to push me to interview those two women. And I said I couldn't. There's certain people I just wouldn't. It's like I wouldn't interview Ricky Dearman. There's certain people that I wouldn't interview, you know, most of Hollywood's celebrities. There's certain people that seem so dark, I would feel polluted even engaging with them, you know.
Yeah.
I don't say that to be superior. But what was the other thing I was going to say? She manifests. She manifests. When I was going to join the network, I didn't know that she had discredited the Holly Gregg abuse scandal, let alone that she'd also discredited Toos in Denmark, and she just loves discrediting people as she thinks she is, but actually it's craziness. She just seems to get triggered.
She's after like Michael Tallinger, big time.
Well, I don't know about him because she's trying to discredit him right now. I don't know all these people. But basically, I watched some interviews on the network, and I watched some that Biggie did, and I thought, right, I can work with him. I knew that I didn't trust Mel, but I couldn't remember why. Like, I remembered removing her from my friends list about 9 months beforehand, and I remembered thinking, oh, she's a hard bitch. But I couldn't remember what it was that had alarmed me about her. So when she was being so sweet and wanting me on the network, I thought, I researched and I watched some shows Biggie did, and I thought, yeah, I can relate to him. So I thought, right, I'll deal with him, you know.
Right.
But the truth is, you know, as much as he tries to deny it, she's the kind of driving force. And he must know, being married to her all these years, because when I did act out with him, I got kind of very paranoid a little bit, probably understandably so, but I got a little bit bitchy with him. And then I said, I'm really sorry I acted out. I was very stressed. And he says, oh, give me a break. Do you realize who I'm married to? So I think he's very used to her manifesting. You know?
Yeah. And, you know, as far as Biggie, though, I mean, he loaded. You remember the one with the paneling that I sent you? I sent you.
Yeah. I sent it to Nina.
Yeah. And you guys all saw it wasn't sideways. I mean, it wasn't a very well done video, but it was not sideways. And when I played it for the audience, when I did my own, when Barbara Lamb canceled on me, and I built my own slideshow, and I showed the pictures in the house and the incinerator and the hearts. And then I had him play that, and I didn't know that he had loaded it sideways. So when I saw it, that's when, I lost complete internet, completely went down 3 times. But I know I completed my slideshow for the first part for my haunted house thing. And it shows my last slide is way over because I wanted to show the modern, because they have the heart with the hearts. And I had taken CIA symbols. I made a screenshot of CIA symbols of today with the heart, and that's all slid over. And then the second one is gone. And I said, Biggie, I know. He goes, Sandy, do you know how many times the internet stopped? I said, yeah, 3 times. He goes, oh, because he didn't even know if I really even would remember how many times it went out. And he says, I swear to you, Sandy, I didn't take it. I said, I know I got through that whole slideshow before that first internet drop. And I said, the last slide is gone, which had the modern CIA symbols that I learned from Pizzagate. Yeah. And
I don't care about looking like shit, because I think sometimes we're vulnerable and sometimes we don't have it all together. And it's definitely one of those times for me. I do have some positives in as much as I'm going to start doing audiobooks. I'm going to start publishing audiobooks and charging a very reasonable amount to do it. But a lot of people have a book written, ready to go, but to self-publish costs anything from $5,000 to $10,000.
Exactly. My book is ready.
Yeah, and even when you self-publish, even then, a lot of people that write books, they then have to convert it to an audio book anyway, because people are more and more wanting to listen to books rather than read, an actual.
Okay. Right.
So I got the idea because somebody in America, a survivor, sent me a book he'd written, and it was so good, I did an audio version for him. And then Nina's going to edit it and superimpose some photography on top of it. And then I thought, well, I've got 2 books ready to go myself, so why don't I do that as well for myself? And then I thought, you know what, that could be a way of making some money. It's like God's been giving me ideas. It says in the Bible, the Holy Spirit will give us witty ideas and inventions in the last days, so that we don't have to endure the financial.
It says in Proverbs, I wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
So I've had 2 ideas. One is to start doing a little audio publishing business, and the other is to advertise for an intern to come and help me with some of the computer technical side of things. And the third one, once a month, I'm going to do a broadcast with this prayer partner that on spiritual warfare, like really in-depth spiritual warfare, like, identifying certain strongholds and principalities and powers, and, going into a teaching about what how it's them, other than supernaturally, because she was praying and God just said to her in an audible voice, Leviathan. And then she went and researched Leviathan, and then we took authority over it. So once a month, we can do a spiritual warfare. And we can do that, the 3 of us, if you like, that's fine.
That'd be good. Like, yeah. I'm learning about hang on one second. What's up? Okay, thanks. Okay. I'm learning about the ethereal, because we're our bodies have the aura, and then we have our ethereal part of us, and that we can get energetic implants into our ethereal, and that we have to learn how to keep ourselves spiritually clean, because they can actually link on to us, and we know these interdimensionals suck on our energy. So
yeah, I'm not going to be judgmental at all, but some of the stuff that you examine, because I was a little bit concerned about don't be unequally yoked, and some of and I don't mean that in any way superior at all. It's just I got so burned by getting myself aligned with a New Age network.
Oh yeah. We know New Age is created by the CIA.
Yeah. So just sometimes some of the stuff, some of the solutions that you investigate, I don't relate to, but that's okay. I don't need to. Do you know? Right. It's like I just try and stick with the Word and the Spirit. I try not to get too airy fairy, but even that word ethereal, I mean, I'm not always right. I know when you had I quite liked that interview you had, that guy Dr. Happy, or what was his name? Dr. Dream. Yeah, I actually had therapy with those Tibetan bowls in 2008 in a retreat in Spain, and during that session I had a vision of one of my dead children in heaven.
Oh.
And it was really very healing, because my first pregnancy was 3 years before the birth of my daughter that is alive. And my daughter was very estranged from me at the time, and it was agony for me because she gave birth while I was on this retreat. And she had a very difficult birth, but her partner wouldn't let me anywhere near her. And so I was in agony about that. And in this Tibetan bowls session, I saw my firstborn, and I kind of already knew by the Spirit that she was a girl, and I'd named her. And she just said to me, "Don't worry about it, Mom, I'll sort her out." Even though I don't like to, I know the Bible kind of teaches against asking the dead to take actions on our behalf, But she just kind of said, "Don't worry about Gabriella, Mum, I'll deal with her," or something like that. It comforted me And then also I had a vision. I had lost a twin as well. My eldest son was a twin, and I lost one of them in utero. And I'd never looked into, was it a girl or a boy? And in this Tibetan bowl ceremony, it was revealed to me that it was a boy. So I named him, you know, and I released him. So like, I know, so, but I kind of stay away from, because the spirit realm is real on both sides.
Oh, it's real.
And God tells us not to access it through the dark side, you know, because I've been so conned when I was into the New Age and channeling and, you know, rune stone reading and tarot card reading and all that stuff. I could go 6 years and get things right all the time. And then other people telling me, oh, you know, this is a word for you, or this is a message for you, or whatever. And it's right. And then they put one thing that's not right, but because you've had all that training of it's always right, it's like the Joker in the pack, and it's had devastating consequences on my choices and my life back then, you know. So I kind of steer a bit clear of it.
Yeah, I don't do any tarot card readings. I do have a lot of spiritual contact though, and it's not like I asked for it. You know, I mean, I have lots of downloads, lots of things touching me, like tap me in the arm.
But that can be good. Like, I've seen Jesus face to face once. I've had taps on the shoulder, which I interpreted as angels.
Mm-hmm.
Physical taps where I turned around and said, "Who did that?" And there's, you know, nobody's like, nobody touched you. I had a healing once with a hand on my lung, and it healed all the scar tissue on my left lung. But I believe that was God.
Yeah. He's got many spiritual helpers.
God and his angels. I believe God uses ministering angels. But the only distinction I would make is that if I try and access the spirit realm other than under the blood of Jesus and by the power of the Holy Spirit, and not of my, it's like I don't deliberately say, can I please go astral traveling, or, you know, can I please, sometimes I say I'd like to see an angel, or I'd like to talk to you, or I'd like to see your face again, Jesus, or, you know, sometimes I do ask for those kind of things, but mostly not. So then I think if I have a dream where I'm transported somewhere, I know it's the Holy Spirit orchestrated that, not the dark side.
Right.
Did you hear the helicopter?
Yeah. They come by me all the time.
Yeah, get a lot of those.
Yeah, me too. I had them like every week up north, and these low, big black copters would come over my house. And I had a friend over that I was showing him what would be considered conspiracy video, maybe on the gray state of America or something, where he like jumped on the floor. He goes, "Oh my God."
My daughter filmed 7 helicopters going. When she was here, she actually filmed 7 choppers.
Yep. Oh yeah. Everywhere I go, when I was in Georgia and stuff, there'd be copters flying over.
And I asked some of the neighbors, I said, "What's all the helicopter activity?" It's like, it's almost every day. And I said, it must cost a lot of money. It's a very small island, 20 miles by 5 miles. Very small island to have such a budget for helicopters all the time. And one of the neighbors said, "Oh, that's the way they keep the island without illegal immigrants. They have them turn back. You know, if there's boatloads of people trying to cross from Morocco or wherever, they turn them back, you know." So that's a plausible explanation. I don't know. And then I don't see why. I mean, it's a very law-abiding island, and marijuana is legal. So I guess maybe they could keep the other drugs out. I don't know.
Like this one targeted individual, I was watching his YouTube, and he was saying how he was actually showing how he'd walk out of a building and there would always be in a helicopter. And he was feeling that they were targeting.
Well, it's every day. It's pretty much every day here.
Yeah. And some of it might be for you, some of it's to intimidate us and stuff. Like I was watching, I forget her name, but she was saying how, you targeted people are basically putting that into your reality. Therefore, it's there. Like the helicopters, you're wishing that on yourself. And I'm thinking, I would not, be wishing myself to be targeted.
They don't really scare me. They don't really scare me.
No.
I would be more upset with chemtrails.
Well, chemtrails are horrible. Actually, I was outside with my binoculars and watching them chemtrailing as my roommate. And I said, shit, look at that chemtrail. There's orbs coming off of it. There was like white orbs, and he grabbed the binoculars and he saw them too. So I'm not making it up. Yeah, those chemtrails and stuff are, because there's all kinds of ships and they're here watching for the big show. This is the end of this is the tribulation time, and this is the end of this timeline. And like
I've been doing some real study on that. I would still want to go back and discuss the Mel and Biggie situation and the other things, but I've been doing some real study on the timeline. And I've got earrings in, and I think that through my research, I'm pretty sure that all of the Revelation prophecies are being imitated by the elite through malicious funded blackmail machinations. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm really it's been devastating for me, because I was really rejoicing that, Israel became a state from the Balfour Treaty after World War.
That's all.
Yeah, and that was all by blackmail and all by.
That's not real Israel.
It was no, and then even in 1960s, in the 6-Day War, I used to buy into that whole miracle narrative about God moved on Israel's behalf, and I think I'm feeling my way through it. And even I know that they're building the third temple, and they're building it like a prefab building so that they can assemble it in 3 days really quickly when they manage to boot the other people off the holy site. But everything is man-made. Prophecy, they're fulfilling the prophecies in a man-made way. And so I got one scripture came to mind: if you build on a crooked cornerstone, it won't stand. So trying to make the prophecies come to pass by blackmail and corruption and fraud and dissembling and Satanism, and like building the Knesset in Jerusalem with all Freemasonry and Satan worshipping signs, and geometry and paraphernalia. What they're ushering in is the Antichrist. They're not ushering in Yeshua, because he would. The only thing I can think is that they may think, oh, ha ha ha, we're fulfilling all the prophecies, and these idiots don't even realize, and they think it's God, and aren't we so clever? And either God will just use what they've done, but they will die in Armageddon because they haven't recognized Yeshua, or it will be exposed as a complete imitation of what was really going to happen. And it may be that the New Jerusalem isn't until after. I think this fake Jerusalem that they've got is what's going to be attacked in the tribulation. So, so there could be so there will be a peace treaty dividing Israel and Palestine. Israel's going to resist. Everybody's going to attack this fake Israel. And then Jesus will come back. And yes, he will defend that geographical area. But I think the fake Jews, the Luciferian ones that have manufactured it all, they're going to die. They're not going to rule and reign from there for 1,000 years. Jesus is.
Right. Well, they're going to have the Antichrist come in as Jesus. And that's
Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah.
you know, they have Sananda and Maitreya and Saint Germain. They
Yeah,
have
what's this Maitreya thing? James Casbolt sent a message out about that. What is that Maitreya thing?
Maitreya is supposed to be an old time fallen angel from a long time ago. And like Sananda, actually, the painting of Jesus is Sananda. Because we're not supposed to know what Jesus looks like. There's supposed to be no graven images. Yah told us that for a reason. And then they started making paintings of Jesus, within like 500 years after his death. I think the most famous one was either Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo, who painted the picture of Jesus. So we all, even atheists, have a picture of what Jesus looks like. So you know what I mean? So that's
I saw him. I saw him face to face, and he does have brown eyes. His eyes were just
mostly when they come to me, they don't see much face to face. I've seen the face.
Only once. Only once I saw.
I've seen Sananda come to me. I've seen the fake Jesus come to me, and he was laughing the last time. That was just last week, where it was like, wow. But yeah, usually when Yah and Yeshua have come to me, I don't see their faces.
Yeah, I know that even with God, or Yah as you call him, he said, "Hide under the cleft of the rock, and I'll cover my face because you wouldn't be able to survive seeing it." So I've never seen Abba, but I did see the face of Jesus just once for like 10 minutes, and
he's beautiful.
And I could just describe it as brown liquid pools of love. And his eyes were just so beautiful, and his hair was brown. You know, I didn't check, is the skin swarthy or dark? It wasn't black, you know, but all I saw was just the love in his eyes. But okay, so let's get back focused a little bit, because do you mind if I just open some stuff that I've
No, go ahead. I mean, if I could give you I think there's a way that I can give you a share screen as well, because you know how big he gave me,
there's usually, hang on, here it is, share screen. I've got it here.
Okay, great. If you want to share screen.
But how do I do that, I wonder? Do I go whiteboard?
You go to the share screen, and it should bring you up, and it should show you like your desktop or something.
Yeah, desktop.
Okay.
All
right.
So I double click on desktop.
Yep.
Desktop share screen.
There you go. Now you're doing it. Okay.
So you're seeing my desktop now. Now what do I do?
Now minimize that, or where do you want to go to? Skype?
I'll start in Skype first. That's good. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you never did this, Ange?
I might have done it once with just a couple of photos. Here we are, Melvi. Now, I'll just tell you her last message because I didn't read it. No idea who Ken is, and I never came from a blood-drinking cult South African family. That claim is totally out of control and not true. Totally out of context and not true. Well, I don't know how it could be. Anyway, I didn't say this is a fact. I said Ken says, and then a second researcher corroborated that, yes, she was from a ritual abuse family.
Okay, so as far as Ken
I'll finish the message. It says, the Crowley tarot cards were given to me years ago, and I've never used them other than to study the art and symbolism depicted on the cards for the purposes of my own research into symbolism for my body of work you should by now know as dragonology. And as for your comment, I'm hoping you arrived there accidentally. I am hoping you just want to be free and pure and happy. I am praying for you. And please renounce the spirit of envy and poverty. Neither sit well with you. Oh, this was what I said to her. I said something about...
Oh, look at, she just called you a bitch, too.
So I said, I said, I'm hoping you just want to be free and pure. I don't remember saying that, but it'll be in the thread. I did say I'm praying for her, and I did ask her to renounce the spirit of envy and poverty.
Sanctimonious bitch.
She's
because I called her a bitch.
Bitch. You claim to not want conflict, but throw such derogatory, passive-aggressive missives. You don't know anything about me. Well,
you don't know anything at all.
You don't know anything at all. You make assumptions and bullshit up out of nothing. And please don't pray for me. I don't believe in your Jesus and bullshit religion. See, there's the Antichrist spirit.
There she is, right.
This is
right.
why
She
I
knows
couldn't
us.
work with her.
She knows how much
I
we
take
love her.
care of my spirit the proper way by not giving my power away to forces outside myself. Not working very well, Mel. Sorry. This fundamental orientation, like many others, is lacking for you, dear Angela. And you simply lack what it takes to wax or wane with us enlightened and awakened souls.
Oh my God.
Oh,
something else. I mean, I tried
oh my God.
to think of myself as.
And then she carries on, spirit of envy and poverty. I'm not envious of anybody, you horrendous woman. You have twisted my words, the words of an exhausted woman who's in desperate need of a holiday, because the joy of my work is sucked from me by horrendous drama queens and fakers like you who scam money off people pretending to be an investigative journalist when you are nothing of the sort, and then fly around the world drinking, smoking, going to the pub, wasting money and making a public spectacle of this fact. You have ruined your own cause for yourself by your own behavior, and don't hate me or call me bad for pointing out the truth to you. Deal with the mess you create, dear woman. Sort yourself out. I envy nothing about you. Please stop complaining about having pulmonary obstructive disorder while you smoke. If you want to kill yourself, oh look, here's the suicide, here's the death.
Yeah.
You're trying to trigger us into suicide programming.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, if you want to kill yourself, then don't moan about it. You do that to yourself. Make yourself better by quitting smoking. They were right about you all along. You are a total fraud.
Isn't she horrible?
What?
So mean. I mean,
What?
yeah. I mean, whoa, I can't even think and I know how bad I can get, because I'm sometimes say, oh, I can't believe that came out of my mouth. But she comes up with some really, really wild stuff.
That's demonic. That's somebody manifesting. And the Hampstead video, I watched one. They keep saying I watch them all. I don't at all. But I watched one where they had, because Arthur Cattell said he loved it. So I watched it. And it had him smoking meth or something, I don't know, in a pipe. I don't know what it was. And then they had me burning in the flames of hell. But then they had hell doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
It looked like a complete witch.
Yeah,
I had to rebuke it and pray in tongues. Like, oh my God, they have captured the witch, you know. But
oh my God, I know.
The thing I rightfully accused her of a spirit of poverty is because they started off really sweet with me, and then they were getting surly and unhelpful and bitchy and started undermining me and criticizing my guests, just like they have with you. And I realized it was because I'd been late on my broadcast fees, and I'd cut back from 2 shows to 1 show. Right. And then they, you know, the way they do a great job, right? And there is value for money in what they offer, but I don't think the motive's right. And I think it's from a spirit of poverty, because when somebody offered to donate, because they wanted me to, they built me a website, but they wanted me to spend 140 on my website security, and then 80 times 4 on 2 PCs and 2 laptops. So 320 plus 140, 420, 460. They wanted me to spend €460 over and above my broadcast fees for Biggie to make everything secure, including my website. So I sent the €140 for the website, and then they wanted the other 380 and or 360, whatever it was. And that I said to them, somebody has pledged €480 to cover my upgrade and my broadcast fees. But then that person changed their mind 2 days later. And I've learned in life, you never count your chickens before they hatch. Right? If you just don't, it's like the money's not there until it's in the bank. You know, talk is cheap. But when I contacted them back and said, that person has reneged, so we need to hold off on the security, they went ballistic, and they said, we have budgeted for every single penny of that. And it was like I had destroyed their, you know, and then again, I was told that at one point they got evicted, they squatted somewhere, you know, they would contact people and say, we've got no food, we haven't eaten, we've got no money, nobody gives us enough money. And, you know, it's all, so even though they might be genuine in saying to you, you can do journalism college for, what price did she quote you for journalism?
$2,500, and I put 500 down.
But how much money did she say it would cost you?
$2,500.
No, 2,500 euro.
Oh, euros, right, euros.
So she was charging you 10 euros an hour. No, 100 euros.
She only gave me like 10 hours for 700 euros or dollars. I mean, it ends up more in dollars.
Hang on, because I don't want to appear blonde, but I'm not the best at maths. So 2,500 was the cost of her journalism academy.
Right, and I put 500 down.
No, but let me just think this through. 2,500, and that was going to be for 25 hours.
She never told me how many hours.
Oh, well, that's a lesson learned for you then. Next time you ask her, if journalism academy is 2,500 euro, how many hours academy is that? How many hours of school is that? And, you know, how often in a week? And so next time when you enter into a contract like that, make sure you get a breakdown, right?
I know.
That works out at 100 euros an hour.
She got paid really good money for the two months. She did like 10 hours, and so $700. Yeah, she got like 80 euros an hour. You know,
no, it's 100. No, you underpaid. You underpaid, because if she told you journalism academy was 2,500.
Right, and it was supposed to.
She didn't tell you it was 25 hours then.
No, she didn't tell me. She said it was gonna, like, we would do it so many hours a month, and for like so many months, and like I said, she stood me up one day. I mean, I stood there waiting for her to sign in, and then she said she was out and forgot about the appointment.
Biggie's very good at production.
Well,
I have to say, even from when I first got the contract from them, it's full of grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes and punctuation mistakes. I resisted the urge to say, would you like me to edit that contract for you?
Right.
Because every lengthy document they've sent as an official CCN, you know, this is our policy, this is our contract, this is our whatever, it's absolutely littered with spelling. And for somebody that's conducting journalism academy, I would have thought spelling and grammar would be fairly important. Sorry to be a bitch.
Well, like you said, I felt like after I started saying that that I wasn't happy, because I told him we shouldn't be having this conversation. I said, Biggie, this is the third time I've had like 8 shows, and you're still loading them the wrong way. And they got really frustrated. Then that's when I did my Winston Shrout interview, and the words were so bad with my mouth. And there's so much, even Winston's assistant said she wasn't sending it to the subscribers because she was having such a hard time listening to it. And Biggie tried to tell me, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. And now he even said, because they've always twisted things. And then he said later on, I'm going to look at that again and try to get it better for you. So
I want to go through for both of us what we actually spent with them and whether we got value for money, because yes, it's the most professional platform I've aired on, and the promos were excellent, and the high definition was great.
See, but they didn't tell us how many people were viewing. They wouldn't tell us how many people were viewing live. There was no comments.
No.
You know, they basically, even my first guest, when I sent the picture in for him, he did my first post because I couldn't do my own post. And he deliberately omitted the picture of my guest. He says, well, I didn't think that you'd want it. I said, why would I send it if I didn't want it? Yeah, you know, it was controversial, but it was my picture of my guest. And they told me anything I send them.
Was it, but was it with, I don't know. You see, I think the owners of a network should have some editorial power, but they overstep the mark hugely with that. Like if it was a Nazi picture or something, I would have hesitated myself about putting it up, even though there's a lot of controversy over. I know that hundreds of millions of people have been genocided all over the world. So I know that there's a whole propaganda machine about that particular Holocaust. There have been much worse Holocausts.
Has been used for the Indians, the Native Indians use that symbol. I mean,
anyway, yeah, no,
yeah.
But I just think when they say it's free and independent media, my understanding was not just that there weren't sponsors telling people what to say and what narrative to carry and, you know, what was unacceptable and who to book and so on. And no advertisers putting that kind of pressure on either. But they have Mel and Biggie have a narrative. And if you go outside their narrative, 3 strikes and you're out.
Yeah, I mean, right.
But just for the sake of it, go through with me. Let's just both write down what we spent with them. So I gave... do you want to do that, or do you prefer not to?
Well, go ahead. You can write mine down too. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't record everything, but like originally they contracted with me at 100 a month, which apparently was a reduced amount because I was not selling any books or products or anything. I was just a genuine truth teller. Then it went to 200 a month because they said to me, we want to improve your media presence because you're really good and the truth you've got is really important. So we want to put you up to 2 shows a week. But the way they said it to me, I didn't realize that they then wanted to charge me double. So anyway, I said, okay. So I went to that. Then my website, I still haven't seen my website. Mine was much less than yours. And I think it's not as fancy as yours and it doesn't have the book selling capacity or whatever. But I've got a feeling my website was 450 plus 140. 549.
Mine was,
so my website was about 600.
Wow, mine was about 1,600 because it was 1,500 plus I had to pay the currency difference and the PayPals and stuff.
So your website was how much?
16.
See, that's quite a big discrepancy.
Yeah.
That's quite, and then I paid, what else extras did I have to pay for? They wanted me to pay, well, I won't write that down because I've never paid it yet, but they wanted me to pay 80 euros each device of mine for Biggie to improve the security on it.
Right.
And I never got that together.
And I was paying what was 135 US, so it ended up like 140 a month for my weekly shows. So like in November I did 5 shows, and December I paid 140. In January I paid 140, and then February and they knew I wasn't gonna.
And how much did you pay of your journalism college?
700. She told me, well, she goes, oh, you only paid 400. I said, no, Mel, I paid 500 the first month and 200 the second month. And
right, so she didn't have her accounts in place. So out of a quoted 2,500, you paid 700 and you got about 10 hours. Well, that's not bad. I wouldn't consider that a rip-off. 70 euros an hour. It's not a favor. And like I said, she can't spell or do grammar.
Right, and she taught me a few things.
Well, yeah, you've got pretty good. I have to say, you're pretty good. You probably had the ability anyway, but never mind. And then...
Yeah, I didn't really need it. I wanted to take it serious, though. You know, I wanted to try to do something really good to help humanity and have a variety of guests. And
then what else? Did you pay anything else? You paid journalism college? You paid... what about for your book? Did she take any money off you for your book?
No.
That's because you pulled back in time, isn't it?
Well, she was going to charge me 2,000, then they lowered it to 1,600, and then she even said she was going to start it for free. that was like in the beginning of January. And then that was when she was on her nice mode. And I was thinking there's got to be something up with this, because nobody wants to start doing anything for nothing. And she's like, well, since you've been telling people you're going to have it out by February, by the end of February, I want to get on it as fast as possible. And I was having it published through this company, and it was like $4,500, and I paid about $2,000, and I stopped paying them, but I could start paying them again once I get on track and eventually get it published, or do something else. I could do it online like she was going to do mine, and have a e-file.
She knows her stuff. That's one area she knows her stuff. And I know somebody, I think, that taught her a lot of what she knows in that regard. She knows quite a bit about online presence, you know.
Right, right.
But then she learned a lot from me. Like, she copied my Facebooking techniques to such an extent that she switched to her other broadcasters on and say, go and track Angie and see all the groups she posts to and post in them as well. And, you know, like anyway, not to worry. So how many months did you pay your broadcast fees? How many months did you broadcast?
November, December, and January. 3 months.
3 months.
So that's 420, I think.
420, yeah.
Yeah.
420, and then 700, and then 1600, and right, it's quite a lot of money. And I'm sure I paid 100 a month, then I paid 200 a month, then I paid $5.90 on the website. I'm trying to think, was there any? It might have been another couple of extras, but I don't particularly want to bitch about the money. It's not so much what they charged, it's that I hadn't realized they were waiting with bated breath for the money to come through. And like, if it wasn't paid real early in the month, there would be some very pointed reminders. I didn't realize how poor they were. And if you're supposed to respect your bosses and you look up to them and you're thinking, right, you know, I want to be like them. I don't want to be like somebody that's getting an hour and a half sleep a night, not having time off in a year, 2 years, not having a vacation in 10 years, and getting evicted and squatting somewhere. That's nothing to make me excited. Like, when I grow up, I want to be like you.
Well, you know, obviously Biggie has some really good talents, but just like, you know, that Winston Shrout interview, all of a sudden we start, and he has no audio. And you could see him he's like looking like he's trying to fix the audio and everything. And all these really creepy frequencies are coming through, like horrible, very uncomfortable sounds were coming through. And Winston was even like, what's that? And I said, he says he's trying to fix he's sending me a message saying he has no audio. And then he had sent me a message that afternoon saying, what do you want to do for your break? So I said, well, I really wasn't even going to think about it. I said, just give me 10 minutes and I'll send you a couple things. So I sent him Charlie Chaplin, A Melody Sheep, Let Us All Unite, and this Gold Digger Pixels video, which was 4 minutes for my break. Well, you know, 10 minutes before, he could have sent me a message, because since he couldn't talk to me, he could have sent me a message saying, Sandy, I didn't get your Pixels, the Gold Digger one, in there. And he sends me a message during the show, he says, because he's like, I'll prove it to you, I'll send you, because I said, I didn't see any message. So when the break came, I said, okay, so we're going to be playing the Charlie Chaplin Unite and a Gold Digger Pixel one. I thought it was cute because I did the gold thing with Winston, because Winston, we talked about gold. You know, gold grows biologically on this planet.
Yeah, only the healing kind, not the kind that you can sell.
Right. And and he didn't even tell me. So, and then, like I said,
the funny thing, I just have to interrupt for a minute there. We better watch out not to do more than an hour. I think we've been going more than an hour. Didn't you say, are you limited to an hour or two?
No, I upgraded.
Okay, because I've got, okay, good, because I think I'm unlimited on my upload time. So that's
we're unlimited. Yeah.
Okay. But let me just tell you, when I first started working with them, I wanted to play videos at 40 minutes and 80 minutes. And he said to me, no, it's too complicated. We get copyright strikes. You can't use videos.
Right. And they told me
When I saw you using videos, I'm like, you told me I can't use videos. What's that about?
Well, like some of them I'd send him and he'd say you can't use it and stuff. And I'm like, well, I've shared it on Facebook and, you know, like a Imagine Dragons song or something. And then like the last one, when I saw it, because it took him days, Angie, because I had recorded it on Wednesday. My broadcast time was on Wednesday from 6 to 8 o'clock. I always got my shows from him by Friday morning. Friday afternoon came, Friday, Saturday came. So that's when I was like, well, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I'm still uploading it. It's because you had internet problems, that it takes longer. And I was just like, then when I finally watched it, he had my little video clip, my 4-minute thing sideways. I said, Vicky, I said, you're my producer. If you loaded that in and you saw it sideways, why didn't you ask me, Sandy, do you want that sideways? You know, aren't you supposed to be helping me to have a better show? And he said, that's not his job. And I'm like, well, you know, and I realized the importance of a relationship between your producer and your director. Was like, I realized in the lesson, like, I'm sure, like, I know you don't, I just feel like I've lived many lives. Okay, and say in another life, I was an actress. So I had a producer and a director. They hold your material in their hands. They have the ability to sabotage you. And that's what I realized, this lesson that I learned from Mel and Biggie.
There is a way around that. Like, I have a video camera. It's nothing fancy, but I have that and a tripod, and there's nothing to stop me filming. You know, if I didn't trust you, which I do, I disagree with you on some stuff, but I trust you. Right. If I didn't trust you, I would do what Nina did, and I would take my own copy of each show.
Okay, and do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I could review it. And now, but the bottom line is, I don't want to work with people I don't trust. And it was, I never felt, I think the clues were when he was bitchy, he was like begrudging with the acknowledgement of my Nina show. And then Miles takes it, and I think it's over 5,000. It's not huge, but it's over 5,000 in 3 weeks or something. And yeah, Biggie was like, yeah, it wasn't bad. And then the next time she's like, oh, you can do better than Arthur. And, and Biggie said, that was hands down the worst show I've produced in 2 years. And then he sent another message saying, I did not say that. I said it was the second worst show. I'd love to know who gets the first show. Golden boot.
I mean, yeah, they're very good at what they do. And like I said, if I would have thought I had to record my shows to make sure that, because they assured me.
No, that's not a nice way to work. No. It's not a bad idea for a backup, but if you don't have trust, you've got nothing.
Exactly.
The other thing I was going to say to you was this thing, when I went to, they were trying to tell me, don't go to London, don't go to London. We don't want you to get killed. It's too dangerous. Don't go, don't go. And I said, I have to go. I'm going, right? And I trust God. And then I went on an absolute shoestring. Like, my flight was $14.99, but with taxis and travel and baggage and insurance and everything, it came to €90 for me to fly to London. Then my children paid my flight to Dublin and then back from Belfast to Lanzarote as my Christmas gift, okay? So I went to London on a shoestring. I had a meeting with somebody. The travel cost £40. They had to pay 15 of that because I only had 25 of it, to go and meet them. It was brutal, the budget I went on, but I was determined to go, right? Because it was important. So then when I came back, another campaigner came and spent the week with me. And we put some photographs up. We went out and there were 6 camels in a parade, and we put some photos up of the camels, and we went to the beach and took some beautiful photographs. All of that comes for free. And I put some photographs or some videos up of a live music session I go to once a week. And that costs me €4. Like, I usually have 2 drinks, which are €3 each. So say €6. So I go out once a week to a live music session. It costs me €6, which is like $5, right?
Right.
So she was, before I went into all those details, she was saying to me, oh, you know, people are getting sick of you gallivanting around the country and like living the life of Riley, and they're paying for your cigarettes and you know, blah, blah, blah. And so I told her all those things I just told you, that, you know, my lifestyle is actually very modest and this, that, and the other. And then she got to the bottom line and she said, oh, it's just I haven't had a holiday in so long, and I'm just, all I can think about is clear blue waters, and Biggie and I so want to go on a holiday, but, you know, it has to be somewhere in this country where we can take the cat, because last time the cat didn't cope with us being gone, and blah, 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 blah. And so she identified for herself that it was a spirit of envy. It wasn't necessarily people think you're having too much fun and why should they contribute to that. And I said to her, my rental income from my house in Ireland pays my rent and cigarettes here. You know, I have supporters that help with my internet, my you know, electric bill, if I need to upgrade tech, I've got a small amount of monthly support. But when I would get monthly supporters, they were furious. They were so envious.
Oh.
They were just like, what the hell is she doing getting supporters when we can't?
Well, even on one of their banners on one of my shows, they have like, who is game, ... It's just right. And underneath it said campaign fund. So it looks like it's a campaign fund for you who is game. And
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder how many people donated to once they started putting that up, because I didn't even know how many times that I didn't catch it. But when I was like, wait, why is that banner there? Then they're like, oh, well, Sandy, if you load out your videos onto your YouTube channel, because I did create a Who is Game YouTube channel that I don't know how to use. I did create it, but I never loaded anything on. They said you could put a campaign fund on your shows. I said, well, I could use it. I would love to have an upgrade on my computer, or, you know, get, you know, trained on software, or learn how to do these things to make my own shows and stuff. But I don't know, you know,
the thing that worries me is when she wrote to Hampstead, which is very suspect in itself.
Hang on, you know what? Put this on, take off your share screen.
Oh, okay.
If you're done, yeah.
Yeah, because I just sent her a message saying, I've just read this out for a video. You manifest, Mel.
She's in. Oh my God, Mackenzie's.
No, the thing that worries me, when she wrote to Hampstead, first of all, she's on record saying that she was disappointed that the Mackenzie's Devils YouTube channels got taken down because she really liked them.
Whoa.
And then Biggie says in the background, I'm not glad that they're down. And she says, oh, well, I am, because I just think they're so funny. She just wants to be in with that crowd or something. It's embarrassing. And then she wrote to them. And then when she said, because I had said to Biggie, look, let's keep this dignified. I'm just going to say we've parted ways because of irreconcilable differences, citing Holly Gregg, Fiona Barnett. And I think that was all I mentioned. But then when she wrote to Hampstead and said, we disagree on Holly Gregg, Fiona Barnett, Kevin Annette, and she quoted one other. Oh yeah, Toos. And then I thought, wow, look at the major satanic ritual abuse survivors she's discredited. Mm-hmm. That's a pattern. Yeah. That's not just oops. Well,
didn't you say that they're denying that they called me a crack, that she called me a crack whore? And
I swear to God, I let me see if I can find that. I swear to God, it may have been a Skype call. She was screaming like a banshee in the background. Biggie was trying to talk to me, and she was screaming in the background.
Like she does, right?
About you. And I was laughing, right? Because Biggie was saying, guess what she's written now? She said blah, blah, blah. And I was laughing, and I was saying, look, she's under a lot of stress. She's homeless. She's moved. She's in a motel. Give her a break, blah, blah, blah. And Biggie's like, yeah, but how can she say she's disappointed in me? And like this. And then Mel's screaming, and she's saying, I don't even believe she's MKUltra. I think she's just a crack whore who makes stuff up. And I'm like, no, you're wrong.
Right.
You're
There's
wrong.
no reason I'm making
I tell you, I have a witness to that. I have a witness because Tracy was here.
Okay.
Tracy was here because I said to Tracy, because Tracy was here when I had a long conversation with you. And I said to Tracy, Tracy heard that. I have a witness. Yes. I have a witness.
Because they're telling me, they're going, you know, Angie likes to talk.
No.
Like,
Mel was screaming.
Angie.
I've just realized I have a witness. Tracy was here. Mel was screaming, I think she's just a crack whore who makes stuff up. And I said to Tracy, you saw the conversation I had with Sandy this morning. I talked to Sandy for 2 hours. Was she on drugs, Tracy? And Tracy said, no, absolutely not.
No, I'm not. You know, I mean, I've done them before. Obviously, I share that with the world. I tell the truth.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Wow.
I'm going, there's no liars and deceivers, so I cannot live under that.
And then Biggie was trying to shut Mel up, and he was just saying, I just think she's batshit crazy. I just think she's just batshit crazy. And Tracy was cracking up laughing. She was like, yeah, I'm so glad we had this conversation because I realized I got a witness, even if I don't know if I recorded the Skype call. But Tracy was walking in and out, and she just said, I can't believe that. I can't believe them. I just can't believe them.
Right. And in emails and stuff, I've had so many things going, and I've said to Vicky, you know, you think I'm stupid? And he goes, well, actually, I think exactly the opposite. And then he's like, you know, say, yeah, I think she's batshit crazy. You know, I mean, they're just so two-faced. They're so two-faced.
Yeah, there's something going on. There's something going on.
Yeah.
But basically, she's revealed herself. It's the spirit of Antichrist. Don't pray for me. I don't believe in your stupid Jesus or religion.
I know. And even
you're not enlightened enough to wax and wane with those of us that are. Oh, God.
Yeah, you don't fit in. That's okay. I don't want to fit in with you freaking witches and your Illuminati and all them. I don't want any part of it. You know, I mean, shit. This is crazy.
There's more messages from her on my other Skype, but I think we've got the picture.
Yeah. I mean, we pretty well put. Yeah.
I just release. I forgive her. You know, she doesn't want me to pray for her, so be it. But I forgive her for my own sanity and my own well-being.
You know, and I kept praying for Biggie and Mel and stuff. And
I prayed for them this morning.
I kept getting messages like, you know, they're not trustworthy. You know, like, you know how you get that spirit talking to you and stuff. And I told Biggie a couple of times, I said, Biggie, I prayed so hard for you because you have so much of my material. You can be such a catalyst to help me, or you could definitely ruin me. And he's like, oh, I have no intentions on hurting you, ruining you.
But you see, I believed they were so nice to me when I first joined the network, right? And he was saying things like, that's the best first show anybody's ever done on this network and things like that.
He told you that too?
Oh, you're kidding me.
No. He told me that. He told me this is the best first show I've done all year when I did my first one with Eric, the psychoactivist.
Well, I bought into the flattery for the first few weeks, right?
Right.
But then when I realized it was a tactic, because by then I struggled with my fees December and January. I did pay them in the end. Like I only did 2 shows in January, and one of them they had said, go ahead and we've scheduled you anyway. Even though I said I don't have the money, please take me off the schedule for January. And then 24 hours earlier, Mel says, we've scheduled you for tomorrow. You're in the broadcast guide. So I broadcast the show as being sponsored by them. I only did 1 more show after that. I still paid my €100. Wow. I still sent them the €100 for 2 shows, one of which they got the credit for. But when I realized that the flattery was just that, it was flattery, it wasn't love, was when I did a show with you and Biggie was all over you like a rash.
Right, and I didn't catch it.
And I was like, that feels a bit uncomfortable. I wasn't jealous. It was just like, what's going on here?
Yeah, and it was like I was being suckered.
Sycophantic, I think is the word.
Because they were like, your numbers we don't understand. Your numbers are off the hook, and your numbers are insane and stuff. And how do I know that? you know, and here I
The numbers are not insane. The example is, I do believe YouTube manipulates numbers because I've seen my videos go backwards, even on my own YouTube channel. I was sitting looking at a video and it had, it's happened twice, where a video had 500 and something counts, and then the next day it said 143 views. And then another time I was sitting right in front of the video and it said a number, and then I went to my video manager in YouTube and the numbers had gone backwards. So I know that happens, but their numbers, the best show I've got on there is with Zen Gardener, which has gone over 5,000. The next one is the one with T. Casey Brennan, which has gone over 1,000. But everything else is like 200, 300, you know.
The one with you and me is over 500. Right.
Yeah, but that's not off
the one with you. The one that you were on my show is only at like 200.
Yeah, yeah, and that's not off the charts. That's manipulated. There was funny stuff going on. Stuff wasn't going to the YouTube playlists, and I said it to Biggie once or twice. I said, "How come the Chasing Rainbow shows aren't getting archived?" And he said, "Oh, it's I don't know why it didn't do that. I'll fix that now." But like, and then like the exact same show with Nina, I think it's on about 180 on CCN, and it's on 5,000 plus on Miles Johnston. So I don't understand how they can have such slick presentation, and yet why doesn't YouTube mess with Miles Johnston's viewing figures? You know, maybe there's an explanation for that. Maybe there's a genuine explanation, but it's not very exciting for the guests when they say to me, what are your viewing figures like and what's your live listener statistics like? It's embarrassing to say, well,
I don't know.
They're not great. And Biggie says they're manipulated. Yeah. So really, people only used to come on the show because it was a good presentation to put in their show reel. Mm-hmm. It was a good professional presentation for them to put on their own channel or in their own portfolio. Because as far as the viewing numbers, they're embarrassing. Mel's shows get like 45, 87, 120. So I'd be embarrassed as the creative director of a network, and I can't get more than 80 views on a video. It's like, give me a break.
Well, I think after one of I think Ken Shorley said to Biggie, said, well, how many live listeners did we have? And Biggie said, I can't tell. How can you not tell when, you know, you should know how many people are live streaming, right? I mean,
well, yeah.
I mean,
I do believe there's manipulation, but I don't believe they're targeted to the extent of, I don't think that they're.
I think they're part of it. I think they're part of it. A part of helping to make our stuff, just the way he loaded our stuff on YouTube.
But then why wouldn't they have bigger view? The only real big view video they've got on the whole network history is with David Icke. They've got one interview that one of their broadcasters had with David Icke, and it's about 60,000 views. So, you know, I don't understand it, but I know that I get better viewing figures on my own funky little YouTube channel than they were getting.
Right. And of course, Biggie said to me, what do you care, Sandy, if you have one viewer or 1,000? I said, well, I obviously. If somebody said to me, my prayer partner said to me, Angie, why would you pay a couple $100 a month that you don't have, and you know, extras for security and website and oh yeah, that was the other thing I paid. I paid a year in advance of hosting my website, and I've never used it yet. So I paid $120. Well, yeah, with my 1,600 was the security that they had to put in, some security certificate and something else.
Yeah, mine's supposed to have included that.
Yeah, that was included mine.
Yeah. So anyway, they charged me a year in advance for, and I know that Eilish D'Avalon paid her whole website broadcast fees a year in advance to help them out of a financial corner. And I know other broadcasters have helped them out because they were pleading poverty. So that's why I said break the spirit of poverty, you know, but that's not my business. I don't want this to turn into a bitch fest, but I do think they threw us under the bus. And I was praying on Saturday And I always run away from conflict. I don't like having a bitch fest. So, but sometimes it has to be done.
Well, you know, it's called like, I think that they have the possibility of actually going as far as being paid for by the CIA to be, or, you know, whatever the Ireland one. I know the M5, M15, and
MI5,
yeah,
MI6.
yeah, and the
They operate out of the Netherlands, and
see,
neither of them are UK nationals. She's South African and he's Danish.
yeah, like just the behavior. And then I realized that even Boho, because his last name is Biggie Boho, on the thing is Biggie Boho. That actually, I met somebody in California that introduced himself as Boho, and he actually handled me for several weeks before he threw me under the bus.
It's quite a common term because it's short for bohemian. Because I even described my apartment as a little boho harborside apartment. And there's a fashion term called boho chic, which is kind of that hippie look, you know, where you're wearing flowing different colors and stuff. So I don't know, it just might be my ignorance that I
just wish I would have
like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
The invoices come to me in the name of Brian Fermas, and then Hampstead referred to him as Richard Fermas. But they're fairly set up. He used to work in banking, and he also knows a lot about the law. So they're not afraid of any lawsuits.
Well, how are we going to sue them anyways? You think about it.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the Netherlands, first of all.
They're probably, I don't like to say it, but there could be backlash just from us doing this, because Mel manifests. She's like a sitting viper. If you poke her with a stick, man, she's mean.
she gets her head up for sure.
And the biggest favor Hampstead did was doing that freeze frame on her doing witchcraft, because that wasn't just catching a bad moment. I know they show pictures of me burning in hell and looking ugly and all the rest of it, but that was like, I had to start praying in tongues. That was like watching a pure witch.
I didn't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so there's more shit I should open, but I think we've done well. We've done an hour and a half. I think that's good enough for our first go.
Okay. And
we'll try and figure out. I just want to pray against any backlash, and I want to pray that, that this is taken in the right spirit, that we're not coming down to that level of mudslinging. We probably are, but, if so, forgive us, God. And even stop us publishing if that's what you want, Lord. But I really felt in prayer on Saturday, I really felt it was time to get tough. Like I know there's one more thing I want you to help me open, because the source that gave me the information about Ella in the Hampstead case has been prevaricating? No, what's that? Procrastinating about when is the meetup for me to view the evidence. So after this prayer session on Saturday, where I decided it was time to get tough, I sent her a message and I said, look, I'm probably too soft to reveal my source, but don't push me on this. You can't just hang me out to dry. You can't drop that kind of information in my lap and have me risk my life to disseminate that information and then not come up with the goods. It's like 5 months since you told me what you told me, September, October, November, December, January, February, 5 months. So she messaged me back, probably a nasty message, but never mind, I'll open it later. I'm done dealing with all this negativity. Do you want to just,
you want
to pray or something? I feel like cleaning the atmosphere after this. Those messages from her are despicable.
The whole thing is like they seem to think that by us speaking out and defending ourselves that we're being nasty and vindictive, when all I was saying is that I don't feel that he was producing my stuff the way that I wanted it, and that's what started the whole thing. So. Yeah. And
that's what started the whole breakdown with me. like, first of all, they were starting to undermine my guests and so on. And then I asked him to, the title wasn't the same on the YouTube as it was on the promo again.
Stuff like that, yeah.
So I asked him to make it the same and actually adapt it to say Aussie underworld figure refuses government agent job to fight child abuse. And then he just went ballistic for an hour, he just went crazy for a whole evening. They both did.
Yeah, and and you know that he hadn't tagged my shows properly because they weren't coming up when I Googled my guest's name, where they would come up with my name, but it wouldn't come up with my guest. And then when he fixed it, it did, like Sandra Effect. It didn't come up under. She did have a few pages of them. She did have some shows, but I went through everyone and there was nothing. And then when he fixed it, it was there. Because he was even saying, in one time he was pretending, he goes, I see it, I see the bio there. And I'm like, Biggie, I'm looking right at it right now on YouTube and there's no bio. And then after I went back in it again, there was the bio. So he was putting it on while we spoke and telling
But I don't understand why they would go to all the effort of trying to build a network if it's just to sabotage people. Who does that?
Okay, just think about it. All right, we're considered target. We're MKs, and so not like Sandra Feck said, not all targeted individuals are MKs, but all MKs are targeted. So we're targeted. We're on their network. They're offered $100,000. That's nothing compared to what the money that the government has to target. They take the money. They do these things to us.
Let's just say all of that's just a hypothesis, allegedly. And the other thing that occurred to me was when Biggie had such an adverse reaction, when I said to him, if you're so burned out, so overworked, and as I might add, henpecked and railroaded by your wife, but if you're so stretched and spread thin, find a way to make a second password for individual broadcasters to do their own final edit, in terms of tags and titles and stuff like that. Well, he went so crazy and said things like, I would die before I'd give out the password. And then they went paranoid crazy, like too crazy, like, what are they hiding? And then they put out something in the main
broadcast room
saying, oh, we've got to protect, we're dealing with protected mothers that their lives are in danger and they could be shot by their husbands and so on. Their lives depend on us and our security. But afterwards I started thinking, because Biggie had said our security is as good as online banking. Now that's pretty high fucking security. I started to think, why? Why would you have, why? And then another time when I said to him, I think I'm spreading myself too thin because I'm administering Facebook and 4 groups there, and then YouTube, and then email circles, and then Twitter. And he says, oh, I'm admin on, I think he said 100 pages. And I'm thinking, really? What's your sideline, Right. So you have to always wonder if your security is as good as online banking and you're admin on 100 pages and you're just exhausted. I call it paranoia. I always ask the question, given that 60 to 70% of humanity views and pornography, and given that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and given that a lot of broadcasters sadly seem to do it as a sideline, you have to ask the question, You have to ask the question.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I just realized that there's a lot of people and I'm not going to go into Miles Johnston, but Miles to me is a handler. I actually defriended him on Facebook for a couple of things that and this is the way he goes, because I told him about us leaving here and everything. And he says, is that why Angel? He said, Angel, your name is Angie. He never got your name right. Is that why Angel left? And I said, there's the whole reason between Angie and I leaving. And of course, he doesn't respond. He only responds when he wants to.
The thing that I think there's hope for Miles. I think he handled it quite graciously. I outed him for the pornography thing. I asked questions about, is he producing? Is he distributing? Is he filming? I still don't really know the exact answers, but I thought he handled it quite well. He looks a lot better. I watched his a couple of recent fast blasts, and although he's having financial issues and he's having a lot of targeting issues, but he looks really much better.
To me, it looked like a different Miles.
It did, because I think he's come
how
through
do
the
you know?
fire.
It didn't look like the same Miles.
If you can get called out, on your bullshit and you can survive and come out the other end of the baptism of fire, you're going to improve for it. And I was hoping that for Mel and Biggie even. I was hoping that they would get over the arrogant, don't tell us what to do, don't tell us how to do our job, and you're trying to break our security. Oh, you know, like, no, but like, that message from Mel says it all for me. I'm so glad I left, because that is pure Antichrist spirit. She's on the dark side.
Oh,
she's
very
on the dark
much.
side. There's no doubt about it. But the thing I was going to say about Miles, I do think there's hope for him, because I do think, even though he was very upset and felt betrayed, but what made me go cold, he did a recent upload about Max Spears. He just got interviewed by the BBC. And the first thing he said in the introduction about Max Spears was, oh, he was a very naughty boy. He did heroin. Oh, I mean, is it meth? And he drank. Oh, boy, could he drink. And, you know,
wow.
Yeah, he said that about Max Spears on camera. And he said, but there's still a few anomalies. You know, the BBC and I agree that even taking into account his bad habits, there's still a few things that don't add up. Well, that's kind of the way he collapsed, or helped collapse, my court case.
Mm-hmm.
Because the police went, I don't know why they went and investigated him. I gave them plenty of family members they should have interviewed, which they didn't. So, but they went and interviewed Miles, and I have it on camera saying to him, did you back me up? And he said, well, I told them they could look at the bases, but basically I told them your father had abused you. So he collapsed my whole MKULTRA history, right. Pedophile ring, military, medical experiments, down to, oh yeah, she's some lady who was abused by her dad.
Yeah, and so many children are abused by their family.
And he can't take it back when you can't take it back. The fact that he's on camera saying the BBC have interviewed me and Max took heroin. Oh, or do I mean meth? I mean, that was,
see, Max put that out there. Max shared that just like I did. And like Max said, there's a lot of self-medicating going on when you have all of that trauma that you've endured, that's a natural thing to go to. Like I said,
Miles gets pretty drunk every night.
Miles drinks every day, I think.
I know, every night. He works hard all day, and then he goes to the pub and gets really drunk. And then if you're on the end of drunk texting after midnight, don't open the texts, you know. And the same with Belinda. Belinda attacked me. And then when I confronted her and said, whoa, that was harsh, she was saying like, oh, you've ruined your voice. You sound like a man. And blah, blah. She was real nasty. I said, that was a bit harsh. And she's, oh, sorry, I've been drinking half a bottle of vodka every night. And I took my laptop to bed, and I shouldn't do that because then I send nasty messages to people.
Right, you shouldn't drink then.
People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah,
you know?
Right? I know. And like I said, I mean, Mel definitely attacked. And even I said something to Miles about what Mel said, you know, called me, said some nasty things. And he goes, who's this Mel? I said, Miles, you're friends with her on Facebook. He's friends with her on Facebook, with Mel V.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they pretend they don't know each other, and yet it's very. Yeah,
because Rupert, I introduced Rupert to Belinda, and they both acted like they were strangers to each other. For Rupert said, "Oh, I've hero worshipped you since you had that argument with Charlie Veach on video years ago at a protest where you kind of had a slanging match." But they were friends on Facebook since 2012, and yet they were acting with me like they didn't know each other. And Belinda was saying, oh, I've got concerns about him. He's got a very suspect narrative about 9/11, and I don't know if I can work with him. I don't think I trust him, Angie. And I'm like, no, you can trust him. That's fine, and so on. So it's possible that they may have just friend requested because Rupert thought she was cool standing up to Charlie Veach, or
Or
you
maybe
know,
they actually knew each other and were setting you up. Like I said, at
yeah,
this
it's a
point,
possibility.
you know, I mean, like I said, I'm so sick of looking over my shoulder and like having all of this hindsight instead of foresight.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
pray for foresight. Father God, I just thank you for this time, and I pray that you give us the training and the wisdom and the insight how to upload this and how to go forward doing interviews. I pray that you forgive us if we've descended into a bitch fest at any part of this, but I don't think so. I think we've just done what Mel says she prides herself in doing, which is bringing the facts to the fore. And to be honest, I don't need to read any more messages from her after that denunciation of Jesus. And Father God, even though they don't ask us to pray for them, or Mel doesn't, so we won't, but just for ourselves, we forgive them. We promise to learn from this situation, Lord. And we pray that by doing this show that we will actually help others that are considering joining the network. Just weigh up your options. It's a very professional, slick presentation. The viewing figures are not great. The relationship tends to start off sycophantic and descend into demonic manifestation. But, you know, like, cleanse us of anything that was our fault and to recover from this battering that we seem to have both had.
Oh my gosh, it's just
going forward.
And
open up the doors for us to set up a platform to do shows, interviews, spiritual warfare shows. Send me an intern, Lord, that's computer savvy, and just invest in us, Lord. We know any donations that come our way, which are so envied by people, we know that they're from you, God. You just use people to bless us. So we thank those people, and we thank you too, Lord.
Thank you.
Amen. All right, sweetheart. Well done. I'm proud of you.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end recording, and let's see.
When you get it to the cloud, what I'll probably do is I'll probably get a tech in to help me retrieve it from the cloud. If you send me a link to it, I'll see if I can upload it to my YouTube channel.
Okay. All right. Hang on. I'm going to stop recording.